1992, the Chamber was asked to help with the San Francisco Main Library. And at that time, Mr. Shimizu of Union Bank was president of the Chamber. And the Chamber made a significant contribution, almost $400,000, to the building of the new main library. And most recently, just in 1998, the Chamber was asked to help with the move of the Asian Art Museum to the old main library and to the rehabilitation of that building. And the Chamber contributed almost $1 million to that.
The Department of Motor Vehicles provided one of the biggest challenges for the Chamber yet. Mandatory waiting periods and red tape made obtaining a driver's license difficult for foreign nationals. The Chamber approached legislators at the state capitol to change the regulations for applying for a driver's license. By the end of the decade, Japanese corporations dominated the entertainment software market. Nintendo and Sega were household names, with Sega even establishing a major presence in the Bay Area. Sony contributed not only the PlayStation, but a new kind of entertainment complex, the Sony Metreon in San Francisco. With the popularity of the internet and e-commerce, the 90s will be remembered for the spirit of entrepreneurism and adventure it brought to the region. Many of those entrepreneurs were from Japan, a new breed of risk-takers, eager to be a part of the internet gold rush.
It's much more difficult to hire people in Tokyo. Still, many people are working for large Japanese companies, and they are pretty comfortable doing that. Here, a lot of people, young people especially, see the startup company being successful and growing quickly, so they see what's happening and they want to be part of that. So it was much easier to attract people to our company being in the US.
It is a lot easier to start a company here in this area. Not only this area, as a whole, United States, it's a lot easier to incorporate a company. Fewer legalities, and of course the capital to start up is much lower. Therefore, hurdle is much lower than those of the Japan.
There is a risk, of course, to start something, and somebody who recognizes the biggest risk is not trying. If people can feel that way, they would be successful here.
The allure of the Bay Area has brought 680 Japanese-affiliated companies here. Altogether, they provide 28,000 jobs and have donated nearly $8 million to nonprofit groups. In other ways, the 1990s heralded some major milestones. The Japanese Saturday School that got its start from the Chamber celebrated its 30th anniversary in 1999. The New Year's parties have become more lavish and successful, with hundreds of people attending, and through the years, a string of top-name performers flying in from Japan. And the Chamber's annual golf tournament, which started in the 1950s, continues to grow in popularity.
We all enjoy playing golf together. In the beginning, since it was just about 50 to 60 players, we divided that into A, B, and C group, and we all had dinner together after the tournament. And as the years went by, it increased to 70, 80, and at this time, this year, I've heard there are more than 100 people, 100 players.
50 years have passed since that small group of Japanese-American businessmen banded together to start the Japanese Chamber of Commerce of Northern California.
Well, I think the Chamber people, helped me to do my job. But I think that's the crux of the Chamber, is people helping each other to further their business and at the same time social life.
I think this Japanese Chambers of Commerce is a very important organization for Japanese businessmen and also American and also Nisei Sansei. And we would like to continue. My hope is to increase more activity of this Japanese Chambers of Commerce to continue forever, and we transfer to next generation.
50 years ago, a handful of Japanese Americans hoped to mend the wounded bonds between this country and the land of their birth. This small hope has been shining even under cloudy skies and guiding other newcomers to this land. As the new millennium begins and the pace of technology accelerates, it is difficult to predict what the future will bring. But one thing is certain. As the Japanese Chamber of Commerce of Northern California begins its next 50 years, it hopes to unite American, Japanese, and Japanese-American business people and to strengthen the bond across the Pacific between Japan and America.